everybody, and welcome to Sammy Scrolls, where I tell you all about some of the best books out there. For this episode, we're up to The Walking Dead, Book 3. This is a bit of an interesting one. Out of all the books so far, I find this one the hardest to read. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still absolutely love the story, but the content in this book is really hard to handle, even for me, and I don't get fazed by much. It's just, the governor in the TV show, I mean, he's pretty bad, but the governor in the comic books, he makes the TV show version look like he's a kindergarten teacher. So that gives you an idea a little bit of what we're sort of dealing with. But also, one of our main characters has, I guess you could kind of call it a bit of a, I don't want to say psychotic break, because it's not really. I suppose the actions are kind of justified, sort of. In this kind of world, I guess anything goes, and maybe karma hits harder, I don't know. But yeah, it's just, especially seeing, like, if you read something that is of sensitive nature, you can block it a little bit more, but with comic books, there's no escape. It hits you right in the face, you're looking at it, it's looking back at you, and you've just got to deal with it. And that's one of the things that I love about The Walking Dead, even though this book did kind of have a little bit of an effect on me. Like, it does toy with your emotions, and some of the stuff that you see and the reactions of the other characters involved and otherwise, it's a lot to handle, and The Walking Dead isn't afraid to go there. And it's a credit to Robert Kirkman's writing that he doesn't shy away from really tough topics. He's not going to be put off by the fact that some people might not like it, even though I find it confronting to see what happens in this book. That doesn't put me off the story or anything. I think he knows that the Walking Dead fan base is pretty much going to cope with anything that he throws at them. I mean, even on the TV show, we've lost some really amazing characters, and one of them I thought was going to get with my favourite character, and when we lost her, it was tough times. But the comics, they hit you even harder than the deaths on the show and some of the drama on the show, because you spend so much time with these people and you get so much more invested because you can see more in depth into what's going on. And I don't know, maybe it is just me, but I like books and comic books and all that sort of thing more, because I do feel more attached to the characters. Not that the TV show's bad or anything, but I don't know, I just like it. And especially with this book being a toughie, it gets right into the psychology of things, and you start questioning what you would do in that situation. Would you go as far as some of these characters went? Where's your line? What would it take for you to go all the way, I guess is the nice way of terming it. I don't know. But, like, what would it take? What lengths would you go to in this situation to protect those that you love, your friends and family, or people you've met along the way? And if it came down to having to pick who you were going to save, how would you do that? It really gets right down into your moral code, and you read it and think, I mean, you do kind of judge the characters a little bit, going, oh no, I would have done this, I would have done that, but you don't really know till you're in that situation. And trying to imagine being there, it blows my mind. I mean, I've played the video games, I've read the books, I've watched the TV show, I'm a little bit obsessed with the whole zombie world, but I can't imagine actually having one look me in the face. I mean, I went to Comic-Con this year, which was brilliant fun, and they actually had some zombies walking around. There was some scare experience or something, like, being advertised at one of the stalls, and this zombie actually looked me right in the eye, and I thought that I was like a Daryl Dixon protege and I would be fine, but it looked at me and I froze. I knew it wasn't real, like, it sounds so stupid, but just because I'm so invested in the whole zombie pop culture world, for a minute I forgot, and I froze. I just stood there and looked at it, and then, I mean, it was only for a second or so, and then I decided that I knew this guy was trying to scare me, and I knew he wasn't real, so I just stood my ground, because a lot of people were running away, and I was like, you're not gonna scare me. But I mean, if that was a real zombie looking at me, I could have been eaten. That would have been it. And like that's the closest that I'm gonna get, hopefully, to ever meeting a real zombie. So it's kind of interesting to know that even though I've done I've studied zombies, which sounds stupid, I guess, but you know, there are textbooks out there. I've done all the study, I've watched most of the movies, and when confronted with as close as I'm going to get to the real thing, I freaked out. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit embarrassed about it, but when those eyes look at you and they're milky white and undead, and it starts growling, and I mean, I was like, they were all around, and hearing that growling around you, and it just, the eyes are what gets me. I reckon if I hadn't looked right in the eyes, I wouldn't have freaked out so much. But you know, I always, if I'm talking to someone, I look them in the eyes and try and like figure out where they're coming from and connect with them that way. And looking into the eyes of the undead, because those contact lenses, they're very convincing. It is. It's kind of paralyzing to know that there's no way to reason with this monster that's coming at you. It's just gonna get you. So yeah, I guess I understand why they say in this that the zombies aren't really the enemy, it's the people, because the zombies, they're upfront and honest. They're gonna eat you. They're not gonna pretend to be your friend first. They're not gonna give you a cuddle. They're just gonna eat you. But people, on the other hand, it's kind of paraphrasing considering some of the stuff that happens. Whoops. People are gonna tell you what you want to hear and do what you want them to do for a while, and then once they've completely drained you of all the resources that are useful to them, in this world they might kill you. That's a scary thought. The zombies aren't the evil thing in this apocalypse, it's the people, and this book really, really drives that home. Like, in the first two, I was with the group and I was like rooting for them and everything, and I was like, oh, I hope we find more people, because you know, Rick and his group could use more good people, and they're gonna be okay and they'll fight the good fight and everything. And then once we started meeting people, I was like, oh, bring more zombies, it's easier to deal with. So I don't know, I guess I've sort of rambled on long enough. I'm sorry I keep doing that in these ones, but I absolutely love The Walking Dead. I can't help myself. So really, if you haven't read the comic books yet, even if you haven't watched the TV show or you don't like the TV show, it's not really a good comparison to this, because the TV show is great and everything, but the comics, they get so much more involved. There's so much more going on, and a lot of people have been saying that the TV show sort of has slowed down a little bit, and I tend to agree, kind of. Like, I do enjoy the character development and getting to know those people a bit more and why they are the way they are, but it did kind of drag on for a little while. Like, season 6 has been much better, I think, but there was a few times in, I think it was season 5, where I was like, okay, I get it, can something kind of happen now, good, preferably bad if it has to, but you don't have those pauses in the comic books, because you're reading, you get to learn all about the characters as everything's happening, so it's almost constant, something's going on, constant action, whether it be someone new coming in, or a new threat of some sort, or just the normal zombies, whatever it is, and there's always something going on in the comic books. So please, please, please give them a chance, and if you love the show already, you're going to love these even more, I think, except for that there's no Daryl. I miss Daryl. But that's my thoughts on book 3. I can't wait to get into book 4. It's going to be so exciting. I'm kind of devastated that we've had the mid-season finale of the TV show, but oh boy, what an ending! What are you all thinking about it? Are you excited for the next half of the season, or are you as nervous as I am? Because that little, I don't know, teaser, I think you'd call it, after the mid-season finale, I have actually read through the comics before, and I know what that means. How do you guys feel about it? Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. If you've got any books or other comics or anything that you'd like to see on Sammy Scrolls, please let me know. And talk to me about The Walking Dead. Let me know your thoughts on the TV show, or have you read the comic books? What did you think? How are you coping with what happened in here? I can't wait to hear from you all. Take care until I see you next time. Bye!